phone or your tablet. Just saying.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Hold on, be right back.
BRB.
Wait, maybe no. Okay, my tablet's on the charger, but I have time to get it.
I just saw a new word, prevenge. It's like revenge, but before somebody does something.
That just sounds like a new way of saying preemptive strike.
Yeah, it is. I like it.
You know, I used to open the podcast spreadsheet on my iPad. I stopped for some reason, though. Maybe it's just because Google Sheets feels dirty on iOS. Okay. All right. All right, the voicemail is on standby. I have the spreadsheet open. And the Chromebook is not on fire yet.
And did we say we were going to kill this text message?
Oh, yeah. Ixnay on the tooth blue-a.
Yeah, we don't need to. We don't need to discuss
blue-a?
We don't need to discuss
Play.
the tooth again for the third week.
Tooth play? I never learned how to do Pig Latin, so I just wing it really shittily.
So there was a, you guys are a little bit younger, so you might not remember the show. There was a show when I was a kid called Fat Albert, and it featured voices by some guy who liked to drug women, and one of the voices for one of the characters inserted a B in the middle of every word that he said. So, like, if he were saying a word, he would say the first half up to the vowel sound, say the B, then repeat the vowel sound and finish the word. So, like, for example, Liam would be Libiabum. Libiabum Spravidlibid.
I will be right back. I have to take care of something real quick before the podcast. Give me like 5 minutes.
That sounds stressful.
5 minutes?
5 minutes?
Yeah,
5 minutes.
4. I'll give you 4.
Okay,
All right.
Well, you're cutting into your time, so go.
I'm not a very good deal maker, but that sounds acceptable.
But for some reason, when I was a kid, I thought it would be really useful to memorize how to talk that way and do it fluently. And so that's a skill I have today that I often put on resumes.
You're a polyglot.
A polyglot?
Yeah, that is that sounds like one of those things that, like, when you get old and have dementia, you could just start talking like that all the time.
No, I mean, like.
Welcome to the Evandroidi Pobolivis Podcast.
It sounds like you're underwater.
It does.
It sounds like I'm cutting in and out. Like, even to me. It
does. It does sound like that, too.
That's the feeling of cutting in and out.
Oh boy! To everybody, to all 9 of you watching currently, we are waiting for Ryan to return, and we're just generally kind of late tonight. I'm sorry.
It's important business for the next 3 minutes.
Super duper important.
I'm sorry to tell you that I'm late, but I'm happy to tell you that it's not because I'm pregnant.
That's good. So I'm gonna, I don't know how I'm gonna do the edit of the show. I don't have my Windows laptop with me, and I don't get back home till Sunday, so I am not sure what I'm going to do in regards to that.
I think I'm gonna add some Christmas stamps.
Liam, that's not helping the situation. How does this help me edit the podcast?
I don't know. I'm just saying. It's important, okay? Maybe I'll just have some 3D gogglers. Yes.
Wait, there's no Christmas stamps? Why aren't there Christmas stamps?
I'm looking for Christmas stamps and I'm not seeing them.
There's no Christmas stamps. That is
There's-
super lame.
There's like a Nutcracker helmet, I'm assuming.
Oh, god damn it.
Oh, yeah, like a toy soldier thing.
Yeah, I know, David, the lack of stamps is hitting us all pretty hard.
It is.
It's not sized proportionally, though. Like,
Yeah, it's too small.
it is too small. Like, I just put one in the middle of your face, and it doesn't really help.
Oh, I was like, how did this happen? What's happening? 3D goggles. This will suffice.
Hey, remember that time Artem thought it was a good idea to actually do a post about the fact that NVIDIA is giving away a like $1 in-app purchase in a game they preloaded on their tablet?
It was only 3
Nobody
minutes.
has.
That you have a whole extra minute to not do anything.
Yeah.
I give that leave of absence 3 out of 5 minutes.
Shouldn't I get more? Shouldn't I get like a higher score because it was faster?
No.
These goggles don't have any perspective. I can't really turn my head and have the goggles work properly. I'm gonna submit feedback about this.
Help, Google. Goggles do not turn, please. Okay, I'm gonna social this real quick here.
I have submitted feedback on like every single page of the Google Plus interface.
I would just like to I would like to point out that if you were in an IMAX theater with those on, you would actually have your head turned enough that you would no longer be seeing the 3D effect.
Really? I was wondering about that because the 3D glasses seem really cheap, and but they work from all the seats.
Okay, so the way that they work is that one lens is polarized vertically, another lens is polarized horizontally. That's how the 3D effect is done. And if you turn anything more than like 15 degrees in any direction this way or this way, the effect is just completely lost.
Oh. Huh.
All right, so let's see here. Pretty tight spreadsheet. I guess we should talk about. We can do a gift idea section.
Okay.
Can we?
That's a thing we can do.
I'm sure.
But it's not like a gift idea. It's actually like a buy yourself shit section.
I mean, that's what most gift guides are. Let's be honest.
It really is.
I'm gonna say the Pixel C just to spite David.
I'm gonna say a hammer and a Pixel C, the former, which you can use to operate your Pixel C.
I like the Pixel C. It's the best Android tablet I've ever used. I know for David that means it's like the best can I've ever used.
It's like the best. This is the best Yugo I've ever driven.
It's the best case of gonorrhea I've ever got.
But I say this as the owner of an iPad Pro as well. Like, it's not.
Yeah, but the iPad Pro's dumb. The iPad Pro is like.
I mean, maybe that's it. Maybe I just have.
I
really
I want to.
I like the iPad Pro.
I want to point this out. You said that the Pixel C is the best Android tablet you've ever used, and then you said, "I'm saying that as someone who owns an iPad Pro," as if that would change anything about how the Pixel C rates.
I said that because I'm appealing to David's iShill nature by saying
gotcha.
I love my iPad Air 2, although the battery life isn't very good on iOS 9.2, so that's making me less happy.
You should just upgrade to an iPad Pro. The solution,
which has worse battery life. The iPad Pro has worse battery life than the Air 2. That's what's just fantastic. Yes.
Do you want to know my favorite? You want to know my favorite fact about the iPad Pro? The amount of pixels that exist between icons is the same as the entirety of the width of the original screen on the original iPhone.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
Yep.
That's my favorite. The home screen on that tablet is ridiculous.
Joni I just like fist bumped the air when you said that.
But I mean,
he would definitely he would definitely spin that to be a good thing.
There's like not that much that you can do with the Springboard launcher, right? Like conceptually, without breaking it,
I mean, you could put a few more icons on the gigantic tablet.
Didn't the original iPad Didn't the original iPad have a thing where you could run iPhone apps on it with just like letterbox?
Yeah.
No,
down
but
to
you can
the
still
original?
do that.
Yeah,
that still exists.
Yeah.
I want to see that done. Can somebody do that on an iPad Pro? Like, Liam, do you have it handy? Can you do that on the iPad Pro? I want to see what that's like.
I don't, but I will try it. I mean, I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like a tiny
lot.
little box.
Yeah. I mean, is that still? I mean, I haven't used an iPad for a while now, but is that still common that you come across apps that have to be letterbox?
It's
I don't think
pretty rare anymore. But you can force to download any of the iPhone version of any app. Like if you wanted the iPhone version of like Hangouts, you could download it. You just have to search on the App Store for phone versions.
Oh yeah, if you want the phone version of Instagram on an Android tablet, all you have to do is download Instagram.
But does it okay, true or false, with Pixel C, with the keyboard dock attached, Instagram still refuses to do a landscape mode?
No, it's always portrait, no matter what.
That's outstanding. That's just the best.
Like literally, no matter what you do.
It's just so terrible. I hate that app. I don't use Instagram largely because I dislike that app.
That app is pretty terrible. I
That
agree.
is pretty bad.
All right, should we get this Antiques Roadshow
Yes.
progressing?
Has anybody sent in any antiques?
No, unfortunately not.
Nope. I think I'm the closest thing to an antique we're going to have on the show. Hey, Ryan's back. We could probably start doing a show.
I was back
We could.
5 minutes ago. Jeez.
Wow.
Well, I know, but we were making up for the fact that I was back for
yeah,
7
Matt
minutes.
is revenge snubbing.
I'm revenge snubbing. That's right. Should I start it?
Yes.
Should we do this? All right, let's do it. Welcome to the Android Police Podcast, your weekly audio source for all things Android. It is Wednesday, December 23rd, Christmas Eve, 2015. I'm your host, Matthew Smith.
I'm David Ruddock.
I'm Liam Spradlin.
I'm Ryan Whitwam.
I actually think this is the first week of Christmas shows that we've actually done because we did the whole sound clip episodes previous years. So
Yeah, we were trying to do an actual show, which it's probably going to be a disaster.
This is no. Hey, you know what? You're putting the wrong spin on it. This is literally going to be the best live show we've ever done Christmas week.
Yeah, to cap things, to like just let you know where we're at. Liam does not have his luggage or his microphone, therefore he's using his laptop's built-in microphone.
Or my camera.
Matt was late. Ryan didn't do anything wrong this week, so good on you,
Except
Ryan.
leaving when we were supposed to start recording.
Yeah, he
5
took
out of 5
a break.
acceptabilities, Ryan.
The key is to just be mediocre all the time, so that way it's hard to screw anything up.
Yeah, and I am at my dad's house where the internet is slow enough that I probably turning on my webcam would degrade my audio. Also, I am broadcasting live from inside a bathroom.
David,
So that's
coming
good.
from his parents' house where the internet is slow and the eye rolls are even slower.
It's true. But the bathroom seemed to be the best balance on acoustics and I guess privacy. I mean, I could lock the door. I'm using the restroom at the moment, as in I'm using it to record a podcast.
I suddenly was really thankful for the crummy internet speeds.
Actually, I have a chair in the bathroom, which is the weirdest thing. Whoever brings a chair into a bathroom? Nobody does that. It's for insane people. Chairs don't belong in bathrooms.
Actually, I can tell you that I've taken a chair into a bathroom on a number of occasions because my mother was a hairdresser, and when she would cut her hair at home, she would do it in the bathroom.
Well,
And it's not convenient to do that sitting on the toilet because it's hard to get around back.
That's true.
it's true.
Is a toilet a type of chair?
Well,
I mean, it's a seat. It has a seat. It has a chair function. It's possession of some chair-like qualities.
It has the affordance of sitting, but not
It's
the
like
signifier.
it's like a chair transformer.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll
it's
accept that.
it's a crossover. Oh, this is going to be so good.
It is going to be good. Who would have ever thought that actually having users email in antiques probably would be a more on-topic podcast subject matter than what we've ended up with so far.
Yeah. Speaking of, we're still accepting your antique submissions.
Yeah. Come on, people. We need antiques. We need them fast.
Can be antique phones even. You have an antique. You got an old Android phone you want us to.
Oh my gosh. Wait. I have something. Hang on. Okay. I have my submission.
Oh. That's the Nexus Q. That's actually a very valuable antique because
that's a collector's item.
It's limited edition. They never technically sold them, so I'll give you $5 for it.
It's signed by Larry Page.
You could have
$3.
You could have hung that from your Christmas tree and lit it up or something.
I think their Christmas tree would tip over if this were.
So that thing is completely useless now, right? Like there's no app that connects to it anymore.
So it is basically just a crummy bocce ball.
Technically, or like a paperweight or a door stop or something. Technically, you can install signage and mod on it if you want to like venture into that interfaceless territory.
I thought you were going to say if you want to hate yourself.
What would one do with it once you've got signage loaded?
Matt has gone all garbly on us.
You didn't stay ahead.
What you would do once you have signage and mod on it would be hook it up to a TV or something, and then you could install a Chromecast receiver on it or what have you.
I mean, or you could just buy a $35 Chromecast.
Yeah, I mean, but the point is, it doesn't do any Nexus Q stuff anymore because the server was shut down like a year or two ago. Sad day.
Am I still robot-y?
No, you're not.
You're okay.
You are substantially human-y.
Substantially human-y. Okay, so we should probably talk about some stories. As fun as it is to reminisce about the very interesting and turbulent life of the Nexus Q. So there was some news that broke this week about Google testing a new way to log into your account on other devices with just your phone. Normally, this is an article I would have read, but due to the amount of outrage that occurred after I got home from work today, I didn't get to it. So somebody's gonna have to tell me what's going on with this.
Well, I actually don't know too much. So the idea is that your phone's an authenticator. That's kind of the gist I'm getting here.
I think it's like smart. It's like Chromebook Smart Lock, but for other stuff.
Yeah. So the idea is if you like go to a site, a Google, and you try to sign into it on like a laptop. Be like, oh, check your phone to authenticate your login, and then your phone's going to be like, hey, did you do this? And then you'll be like, yes, and then you'll be signed in. And the end.
I wonder how this will work with two-factor auth, or maybe it won't at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
that's a good question.
It seems like a cool idea, especially when the vast majority of people don't have two-factor turned on. This at least would prevent somebody from getting into your account. Well, I guess you could still use your password, right? That's still an option,
yeah.
Or is this? Okay. Well, so this is just
you can still. It's just you can at any time
saves you from typing. Okay.
Yeah, I guess if you don't already have a browser remembering. I mean, I guess if you're using a foreign browser and it's I can see the.
Yeah, I suppose like if you're sketchy about typing your password in on something, then this would be handy.
Wasn't there a feature like this on Chrome OS?
Well, yes, like Smart Lock, but I think that's like it's a Bluetooth thing.
Oh.
It's like local.
It's a Bluetooth thing. You wouldn't understand.
Of course. Esoteric Bluetooth things.
Nobody
understands Bluetooth things. That's black.
The Bluetooth group doesn't understand Bluetooth things. It's kind of Bluetooth things appear
sometimes. It's just random chance.
So do we think this is built on the whole sub audio level listening stuff that Google?
I think it's just over the internet.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
You say you confirm on your phone, and then it knows where to go back.
I wouldn't be surprised if it heads that way, but for like Whisper specifically, I don't know if they can rely on having access to the microphone on the target device, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it seems like this might be a good way, like a good backup for that going forward. So like you build this infrastructure to do this, and then when you are ready to roll that out to users, then this is the backbone that you use. If the mic isn't accessible, you can still use this. You know.
Yeah, I might be mistaken, but I feel like Nearby is kind of like a collection of fallbacks, like just a whole bunch of different ways to connect to something, then one of them works.
Yes. Which doesn't, to some extent, doesn't that make it less secure?
How so?
Well, I'm just thinking like, if I have, okay, so we'll take two-factor authentication, you know, at its core, which is you know, one thing you know, your password, and one thing you have, your phone. So if the one thing that I have ends up being like 10 different things that I have, the odds that somebody else could have that thing that you have becomes higher, right? I mean, I don't know. Seems logical to me.
Well, I mean, somebody would still have to like have your phone and presumably have access to the actual UI. Like you would have to unlock the phone to authenticate a login. So I bet Google probably won't let you do this unless you have a secure lock screen on your phone.
Yeah, I would guess so too. I'm guessing it's part of the smart lock, part of Google Play services.
Yeah, which now that like smart lock and fingerprint sensors are a thing, I can't think of a reason not to have a lock. You know?
Yeah, there's no good reason not to.
It's more secure to use your phone to do that than to type your password into a computer you don't know.
Yep. So there was other Google stuff this week.
Some Google messaging service news, which, you know, we never have enough Google messaging service news. I was just thinking lately that since we consolidated some of the messaging services, you know, some down to just Hangouts, I need more different messaging services now from Google. So luckily they're working on one. So it's called chatbots.
Well, it has chatbots allegedly.
It has chatbots, yeah. I don't have chatbots.
This whole chatbot angle sounds like maybe the Wall Street Journal just didn't entirely understand what they were told.
Yeah, I feel like this is being viewed from the wrong angle. Like maybe the concept of chatbots is being applied to a new search product. That's what I think is happening.
Yeah, like I mean, I could see this being like so. Like the rumor, or the report from the Wall Street Journal is that Google's going to have a new chat thing that will have like chatbots in it. So like you'll be able to like carry on conversations with some sort of like AI thing in a messaging app. But I feel like maybe what they're getting at is like Google will be building like natural language search stuff into its messaging products. Like you'll be able to like ask questions of Google stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's little in the way of detail, other than the fact that, so we do know, at least according to the Wall Street Journal, that Google will allow outside developers to build chatbots to work with the service to create a sort of chatbot marketplace.
And that's kind of the craziest part to me. Like, I find that very strange.
Yeah, but I mean, it does make sense because the way I would look at it is this. So you can't have contextual information all the time because you just don't want it all the time, especially about things you don't want contextual information about. If like you send somebody a message saying lol I'm eating pizza, you don't want the Wikipedia entry for pizza. It's not relevant to the situation. But if well, maybe you do, and maybe you should have the wiki chatbot published by Wikipedia, which also asks you for a donation every 3 months. But the idea that you would have different kinds of chatbots based on like stuff you care about, like what if there was like just a movie references chatbot? Every time somebody made a movie reference in a conversation, the movie reference chatbot would be like, "Hey, I get that reference," and then it would send you to the reference. That could be useful.
I don't know. The scenario you just described sounds awful to me.
It does sound awful, but you know what? People love awful things sometimes, and I can't stop them from loving awful things. So,
okay. So as long as this is what they have to have. If this is what it's going to be, then they need to have a Gandhi chatbot who corrects everybody who misspells Gandhi, and they need to have a please respect tables chatbot that automatically does an emoji that shows somebody flipping a table back right side up after they do an emoji that shows it flipping it upside down.
The table emoji.
Yes, oh God. So I think that there is what the Wall Street Journal, positioned this as is essentially Google being afraid that eventually services like WeChat and WhatsApp and Facebook Messenger and iMessage are going to get smart enough about providing contextual information that people are going to stop Googling things as much, which seems like kind of a tenuous connection, I guess, but this makes Google scared, and they would like to, direct you to the Google-sourced information that you so crave and desire themselves.
Yeah, so even if this sounds like an awful experience, I feel like if I were a product person who was concerned with putting search into every possible nook and cranny of the platform, then I would love this idea.
This sounds like the person behind Google Now on Tap strikes again.
Yes.
This is definitely, this feels like to me the B test to Now on Tap say. To see if there's some way you can get people to care about contextual suggestions, which have but it's only in the context of chat platform. So basically, we don't know enough about this to be anything but deeply confused by what Google is supposedly doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
I feel like it will remain that way, probably even after announcement.
Probably, because this is really weird.
All right, so let's move on to some YouTube news. So, of course, we're all pretty familiar with the T-Mobile Binge On program, the program that allows you to stream 480p over the T-Mobile network onto your device without inflicting any damage on your data cap. And YouTube is now saying that maybe, just maybe, that program isn't all that good, especially for folks who don't opt into it, who want to view YouTube videos. So what's going on there?
Well, everybody has opted in by default. If you have an eligible.
I should say, yeah, those who have already opted out, I should say.
Yeah. So if you're opted in, YouTube is pointing out all of your video, probably all of it, is being throttled down supposedly to 480p. I don't know. Did T-Mobile ever say that they were doing the same optimization that they were doing on?
Yeah, that's a good question. They didn't say that, but I think it's implied that it's 480p or better. Yeah, but by 480p or better, they basically mean 480p.
Yeah, because they were very clear, Netflix will be DVD quality, and then in tiny print down in the details, we're going to optimize all video. So.
It will be on DVD quality if you were watching a DVD on a standard definition TV.
Yes, so DVD quality. It wasn't a lie. It was just, calling people stupid because they have no idea what resolution a DVD is, displayed in.
So YouTube is basically just complaining hey, we're pretty sure that they are actually doing this, and that's not cool because, they're interfering with your connection to a third-party service, which we don't think they're supposed to do. And the FCC has already started looking into how Binge On and similar services work. So I don't know. T-Mobile seems pretty happy with the way it's working, though. So they're not too anxious to change it.
Yeah, the whole thing is basically this: T-Mobile opted everyone in automatically, so you have to opt out if you don't want it. And YouTube, the complaint from YouTube is that if people who are opted in automatically aren't aware of the program or aren't aware of what it does, they're going to think that, why am I getting 480p YouTube on LTE? It must be YouTube's fault because, reasons. And so basically the idea is that T-Mobile isn't doing enough to, at the very least, enough to educate subscribers about what this service does to their video streaming. And to be clear, you don't have to be one of the Binge On quote partners to have your video compressed. You can be any video that T-Mobile can identify. through whatever means they use to do that, and T-Mobile will then try to force connection down low enough such that it's going to request a 480p stream.
But then that video counts against your.
Yeah,
your
exactly. And that's basically T-Mobile's way of saying, well, if you won't do it the way we want to do it, then we're gonna our customers are going to be mad at you for not being a partner with us.
Yeah, and T-Mobile, they are keen to point out that they told all of their subscribers about this via text message, but I mean, it was just like, here's Binge On, here's a link to all of the stuff that nobody reads.
Yes, because unsolicited text messages are extremely effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's like T-Mobile always does. They focused entirely on all the positive aspects of what they're doing and touched on absolutely none of the negatives, unless you absolutely went digging for them, which most people aren't going to do. So I could see this being deceptive consumer practice on some level, and I would not be surprised if maybe T-Mobile eventually has to make a Binge On an opt-in kind of thing instead of opt-out. Or maybe seriously change the language as far as how they advertise it, because it is kind of slimy that it's opt out, because you're basically agreeing to something that you almost certainly don't understand as the average consumer.
Yeah, and they kind of bury it in the settings. Like you have after you log into your account, you go to your profile, and then there's like a whole list of things, and you have to go into like media settings or something to find the toggle for Binge On.
Yeah.
It's kind of like those emails where at the end of the email, it's like, by reading this, you agree to blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they put embargo in the subject line, therefore it's magically embargoed.
Yes.
Good times. All right, so there was a couple of stories that went up this week regarding apps and top 20 apps of the year, top 20 games of the year, and then we also had an Android Police team picks for favorite and most used apps of 2015. So being the last episode before Christmas and a little light on the late-breaking Android-related news, I thought it might be good for us to kind of throw around some comments about some of the apps you guys picked and tell everybody why they should go download them or why they shouldn't.
Well, David didn't pick any apps because David doesn't use apps.
I'm literally the Grinch.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, we can't tell if you're lying or not because we can't see you. So.
It's true. It's a fair point. Apps that I started using this year, I don't even know, apps that came out in 2015 that I use that are new.
Well,
Spooky Neural. Okay, there's that one, which I used for like a month, and then I stopped.
Well, it doesn't have to be something that came out in 2015, just something that you used extensively that is relevant right now at this time.
Extensively? Oh, well, that's... Well, I have extensively used the MyLA 311 app, which for Los Angeles residents provides a variety of useful services in the greater Los Angeles metro area. The app is terrible, though.
Okay, so we're not off to a great start, but I mean, I appreciate trying.
Oh, I used Android Pay. I've used it like 4 times now, and it works. They fixed the lock screen bug. At least for me.
Were those 4 times you switching Gmail accounts to get more Best Buy credits?
Oh my God, that's a good idea.
Wait, can you do that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do that.
Oh wait, though, I didn't use a Nexus phone. Damn it.
I specifically took my Nexus 6P when I was gonna go use Android Pay the other day because I'm like, I'm gonna get me that free money.
I use it in cabs and at Duane Reade. Those are the only places.
I use it at Trader Joe's.
Oh, and what is that? Jamba Juice. I used it there to get a free Android toy.
To get a free Android toy and judged.
Yes. But no, the manager was very enthusiastic. He was excited because he got a rare one. I can't remember which one it was. But anyways, that's my story.
That's a great story.
It's pretty good.
I feel like it has, its ups and downs.
So they just added my bank to Samsung Pay last week. So I've been kind of anxious to try it out, but I haven't yet. So I still after all these years, I've never paid for anything with my phone. I still have never done it. Other than like entering my credit card information on an app.
I want to hear or try what it's like to use Samsung Pay with the Magstripe readers, because for some reason I'm imagining that when you hold it up to the little reader, it makes all these like little sci-fi beeps and beeps.
It
Yeah.
should. I don't think.
That would be outstanding, actually.
Yeah, my bank still is not supported by Samsung Pay, so.
Yeah, mine will never be. So that's good.
I just want it to make the dial-up sound when it connects. So like you hold it up to the phone, it just starts going dee bing dee.
It sets your volume to maximum.
There are still so many places though that have their credit card readers behind the counter. So
Yeah.
like these things are all like nice in theory, but then you go someplace where you're like you either just have to give them a card or like lean over the counter awkwardly and like touch your phone on things.
Or you could just be like, just
That's
hold
true, but
this
chip
next
and
to the
pins
reader.
change that. So
I promise it'll work. Just hold it next to the thing, please.
Yeah. So, is there any other app that I've started? I mean, I kind of use Amazon Music sometimes now. I remember, because Amazon MP3 is the first music app I ever used on Android. But then I stopped using it because Amazon MP3 really sucked. And I started using it again. It's okay. That is my ringing endorsement. It's an alright app, I guess. Like, it's like a notch above Apple Music for Android. Like, it's not a very big notch, though.
Wow, that's high praise.
Yeah, that's I would actually say that's medium height praise. It's very much in the middle. So other than that, no, my home screen is like the most boring place in the world. It goes Uber, Yelp, Bacon Reader, YouTube, Amazon, Instagram, HipChat, which is what we use for AP, Google+, Messenger, Hangouts, Twitter, Play Music, Settings, Maps, Play Store, and Photos. I am extremely generic in my
Is
usage
it
of smartphone.
possible that there is a user that is more boring than me? I refuse to accept this.
Yeah,
The next page
if you're
is
challenging.
Sonic. There's Geico's on that pane.
Oh my gosh.
I see.
You're getting crazy now.
So I've been using Authy a lot this year because I finally worked up the courage to just like start doing two-factor auth on everything. And Authy is actually really fantastic. It makes it almost not painless because it syncs across devices. Like that was always my issue with doing two-step auth before. Is like I would have a phone that just didn't have the two-factor auth thing on it, and I would have to go get a different device just to log into something. But yeah, so Authy is great. Everybody should definitely use that.
I will probably not use it.
I guess that's just unfortunate for you.
Does anybody else have any 2015 app suggestions?
Oh my gosh, I do. You already know them. Everybody already knows them. Robinhood and Weather Timeline for life.
Weather Timeline?
I
Yes.
enjoy Weather Timeline. It is a very good weather app.
It's so good. And I never used a weather app before, so I went into it with zero expectations, but it's so good.
It also has very good widgets.
It has great widgets, although my
Widgets.
feedback would be to adjust the drop shadow option. But other than that, they're perfect.
I would say
It's very
probably
specific suggestions.
Probably for me, the two biggest apps I started using this year were the Harmony remote app, but that really had a lot to do with the fact that I bought a Harmony remote. So I don't know if it really counts. Harmony. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you this: the Harmony remote app is really, really awesome if you have a Harmony remote that supports it. But if you don't, it sucks because it doesn't do anything. All right, there, you have it. And then the other one, I downloaded an app, and I don't know how new it is, I don't know how old it is, but it's just called Past Notifications, and it's just a log of everything that came through your notification bar, because I'm a little dismiss happy. I don't know if anybody else has that problem, but there's times when I dismiss something, and then I'm like, damn it, what the hell did I just dismiss? And
It's true. I've been there.
yeah, Past Notifications, so.
It's another one of those things I almost certainly will not use. But, I mean, I like the idea. It seems like a good idea in spirit.
I cannot stand having any notifications anywhere.
I'm the same way, which is why I'm like, just as soon as I see them, I swipe them away. And the thing is like I set up my phone so that I get a lot of notifications, and then I just get rid of them all, which is really counterproductive.
But I know some people whose notification shade is like always into the zone where it can't even show all the icons.
That someone is either Artem or an Artem-like individual.
Yes, Artem is always with that. Every time I see one of his screenshots, I just get itchy. Like
it really stresses me out.
I could just
he has like other numbers and like these strange symbols. I don't know. It gets me.
He's got a bandwidth meter on his phone.
He does, because he has to know not only whether traffic is going up and down, but exactly how much it's using in both directions.
I'm surprised that he doesn't have like a frames per second counter and like.
No, Artem only cares about strictly functional modifications.
I'm also surprised he doesn't have a page up, page down overlay.
Yes. Or he has a page up, page down key in his virtual keyboard.
If somebody could just make a virtual keyboard and like the entire thing is just a giant page up and a giant page down button, and then just publish that to the Play Store, I think he would download it.
You're going to be in the Android Police app roundup, without a doubt.
He would at least +1 it.
And you will be personally selected for Artem's Google Plus page, guaranteed. So the other thing we could do is we could talk about we thought about we were going to do a gift guide on the Android Police. I don't know if we're actually going to publish that. Sounds like probably not. So
it might be a little. It might be a little late. I'm just saying.
Tomorrow's Christmas Eve. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a little lot late, or never happen.
Yeah,
so
here's the stuff you should have bought for people the other day.
But let's be realistic. If you're buying somebody a phone for Christmas, you're I can't imagine spending that much money on that's just weird. But if you're buying yourself a phone for Christmas, which is obviously perfectly acceptable, or for whatever holiday it is you're celebrating, because I don't, obviously people celebrate other things. So we could make suggestions on that basis. We could not just phones though, because we're gonna suggest all the same things.
Nexus 6P. End of story.
Liam, God damn it.
Conversation over.
So we can suggest other not phone objects.
Okay, if you're looking for a tablet, definitely for sure get the Pixel C and nothing else, because it is
unless you value your money for its actual value, in which case you shouldn't.
Get the Pixel C and nothing else, because no tablet is good. That's the only one that you need. And be sure to get the keyboard dock. What else? Yeah, I think that's it.
Are there any other official Pixel C accessories that you can purchase from Google at the same time?
Oh, yes, there is. I mean, you can pick up an extra charger. You can get the Folio case, which is also a keyboard, I think. But it's good to have options. You need that too.
Yeah, sure.
Also, you should buy a flat refrigerator to go with it, so you can stick the Pixel C on there. My refrigerator is curved, so I can't do it, but it's worth the investment, I think.
Definitely. Pixel C, primary usage point. My suggestion for a tablet is, unsurprisingly, still the iPad Air 2. If you want to buy a tablet, it is the best tablet.
I'm going to go with don't buy that because it's expensive.
It is expensive. I mean, so is Pixel C, though. I mean, if your gripe is, expensiveness, then they're both dumb.
If I was going to give a recommendation for a tablet, I would say...
Roboting. That you're roboting? That's what you would say? That you're roboting because you're roboting?
Yeah.
Gosh, darn it.
See, that's what happens when you try to talk about tablets seriously. Because they're not serious devices.
Still roboting? Am I still roboting?
Nope, you're good.
So if I was going to tell you to go buy a tablet, I would tell you to go buy the $50 Amazon Fire tablet, but get it on sale so that it's only like $35, just because they have sales on it all the time. And then when you've got that and you've paid $35 for it and you run it and it's crap, then you can just say, well, I only spent $35 on it.
And then you can say you've had 90% of the Pixel C experience. Because it basically is.
If all you want the tablet for is to watch Netflix in bed, sure, get that $50 Amazon tablet.
If you want David to hate you and basically say your life sucks forever, then buy the Pixel C.
Pretty much.
David will
But,
come to your house and actually yell at you in your own home.
a slightly more serious recommendation, like if you want a cheaper tablet for actual tablet-y things, like if you want to play games on it, you can buy a Shield K1 because it's pretty cheap and it's still a fine tablet. It's pretty much the same as the Shield from last year, just it doesn't have a stylus, which for a lot of people doesn't matter.
Other than that, I don't think I really have any like gadget suggestions. I can think of things that I've bought for myself that have nothing to do with phones and tablets. But
that's okay. Those are good suggestions because I mean, suggesting phones and tablets is boring.
I bought a book yesterday that's called Wa. It's about Japanese design.
Would you recommend everybody buy that book?
I've only read a few pages and looked at a few pictures so far, but it's a pretty good experience so far. If you're interested in Japanese design.
This book is a good experience.
It has some really interesting furniture design explanations of contemporary Japanese aesthetic.
That sounds like something I would not be interested in, but I respect your interest in it.
You will totally just go get it and you'll be interested, just like that.
You know, since Cameron's not here, I will suggest the Chromebook Flip, which is only $280 or less at your electronics retailer of choice and is better than a Pixel C.
I feel like I hear how great the Chromebook Flip is like every single day, at least once in the chat.
I mean, the thing is, like, I hear a lot of people say that it's great, but then I feel like I hear just as many people complaining that like it's done something stupid.
Oh, it does something stupid all the time, but it costs $280.
I bought the Dell Chromebook 13. Which is like a $500 Chromebook, and like it's great except for like the battery was all jacked up and I had to have it repaired. But other than that, it has been a very good computer that I'm quite happy with. If you want a better Chromebook, you can maybe do that, but just be aware if you have to deal with Dell for any reason, they will drive you absolutely insane.
That sounds like a great experience.
Yeah,
so. What else? I mean, I recommend the Chromebook Flip just because the price, if you want a because it's also a tablet. It's a convertible thing, which is, I mean, it's actually usable for that purpose too if you want to use it that way. It's overall probably one of the least regretted purchases I've ever had. So it's a ringing endorsement, clearly.
I don't regret it that much.
I have a keyboard suggestion. I bought a CM. It's a Cooler Master Storm mechanical keyboard with cherry red switches. I forget what it's called. It's the not full one. It has the combined number pad.
So it's a 10 keyless.
Yeah. So it is pretty good.
So how do you like typing on the red switches? Those are traditionally gaming switches.
They are, so they're ultralight actuation. I like it, except when I accidentally gently rest my finger on the W key, and W's just spew out millions of W's.
I guess I also have keyboard things to talk about. I'm a keyboard nerd as well. I have a Poker 3 that I've been using for the last couple of days, and I quite enjoy. If you want a tiny keyboard, it's a very good device. I have one with Cherry MX Clear switches, which I'm still trying to adjust to. They're very heavy compared to the browns I was using before, but very very tactile, but not loud.
Oh, so they're heavy, but they're not. What makes them not loud? Are they like gasket or something?
No, so it's like a blue switch. It has like that click when you hit the actuation point. Browns and clears don't make any extra click, so the only sound they make is like when you bottom them out.
Yeah, it's same with the reds.
Hold on. That's hitting the actuation point. You can probably hear almost nothing.
Yeah, I can hear it a little bit.
And
it sounds similar to my keyboard.
Yeah, and
which when you get really good
out,
typing, it's still fairly loud.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's like, look, if you buy like a cheap membrane keyboard, it's going to make almost no noise, but it's also going to be a really shitty experience. So.
It is.
I'm a big fan of mechanical keyboards in general.
Yeah, I've definitely come around. I bought Apple keyboards for like 5 years, and the quality just went so far downhill. Like, I have destroyed so many of those. I've probably gone through 5 Apple keyboards in 5 years. I finally made the switch to mechanical, and the only thing I would say is if you were used to a chiclet keyboard or something that's very low profile, a wrist pad is like a lifesaver, because a lot of the mechanicals set up pretty high.
You can also, if you make sure that you get a keyboard with a standard bottom row, you can get replacement key sets, and there's a profile called DSA, which is basically it's a lot more like a chiclet keyboard. They're flatter keys, and they don't angle like OEM keys. So
Interesting.
so there's that.
What else? I reviewed some headphones, the Blue Lolas, which are pretty intense. They're like the heaviest headphone ever. They're probably heavier headphones, but I don't know that anybody would want to buy them. They're $250. They sound really good. The pitch is basically they sound really good. They provide good passive isolation from the environment, and they just sound really good. And that's basically the pitch. It's made by the company that makes Blue microphones, which are what we use on the show, except this week when me and Liam aren't using our Blue microphones because we don't have them. And they're pretty good. If you want a good headphone at that kind of price range, I would definitely suggest at least looking into them. I've been quite satisfied with them thus far.
Speaking of Blue microphones, something I bought this year was an $18 piece of foam that goes over the microphone.
I tore mine as soon as I put it on. It was a great experience.
I thought I was 110% sure that it was going to tear the entire time I was putting it on, but it didn't.
Yeah. What else have I bought this year? Actually, looking at my Amazon history, I haven't bought that many things this year, surprisingly.
Well, one of the things. So we talked about tablets and phones, but what about wearables? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of touched on that last week, I feel like.
Yeah, we had a question. I think the consensus is get either a Moto 360 or a Huawei Watch. Those are the two that are worth getting, and the rest are kind of.
Or get an Urbane if you can get it really cheap, like under $200.
The longer that watch exists, the more I feel like it's kind of ugly, and we should have all said so when we first saw it.
I don't think it's that ugly. I still think it's got a look that I'm okay with for the most part. It is chunky. It is definitely chunky.
I would like to just say for the record that I completely agree with that sentiment. I actually kind of thought it was just really flat looking when it first came out, but just I don't know. As time goes on, it just gets more obvious to me.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like it's only a round watch when you look at the screen. Like it's actually sort of rectangular overall because the space in between the lugs is like filled in, and the bottom of it is just like a giant black rectangle.
That is very true. So yeah, those are some gift suggestions. Or by gift we mean buy stuff to buy yourself because maybe.
Right. How to use your gift cards.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, a good way to burn through any like Amazon or maybe electronics store credit is how many electronics stores probably sell Qualcomm certified quick chargers? But if you get like Amazon credit or cash or something, like quick chargers are a good way to spend like $13 to $15.
I mean, unless you're planning to buy like a Nexus phone that doesn't support that standard properly.
Oh, that's true, which is the majority of our listenership. So I'm an idiot. So good job me. So go buy. What you should go buy are some properly the correct gauge USB-C cables.
Yes.
Yeah. Are there like manufacturers now that are putting in their descriptions like certified by what's his name from Google?
Benson.
Yes.
Benson certified cables.
I want it to be like a Benson sticker that goes on these chargers.
Just go to his Amazon profile and whatever you find there is what you need.
Yeah, so those are always a good spend, and they're probably not going to make great gifts for anybody because, what are the odds you know another person who has an X5X or 6P, but as a gift for yourself, hey, pretty good. It's always good to have compatible cables, especially since USB-C is going to be the de facto standard probably in the next year or so on any new smartphone. So those are a good idea, bit of future-proofing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
there you go. Well, we had a product review on the site this week, Fossil Q Founder, with our man Ryan. Didn't sound like you were too impressed, Ryan. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it's a very very pretty watch as far as like a big watch goes. Like it's Hold on, I've got a Moto 360 on, and this is the Fossil Q founder next to it. Like, it's noticeably bigger than like the small Moto 360, and even a little bit bigger than like the bigger one, just because the body is slightly larger. I mean, it's within the bounds of what a large men's watch would be like, but I mean, the design is fine. I have no objection to that. I'm not super into metal bands, but as far as metal bands go, it's a good quality band. The problem is that the software is just kind of not really there. For a company that has designed a lot of like physical watch faces that look pretty good, they kind of didn't do a very good job on the watch faces. There are a couple that are just kind of weird, and they don't really show you much information. There are some that have like numbers cut off on the bottom because it has a flat tire LCD. I mean, they knew that this device was going to have a flat tire LCD. I don't know why they wouldn't just tweak the design of the watch faces a little bit to not emphasize that. So the watch faces are kind of meh, and there are only a couple of them. And there's just sort of some general stability issues with it. It's frozen a couple times and rebooted itself a couple other times. And I mean, I got a second one just to make sure that it wasn't like just a bad unit. And the second one's doing that same kind of stuff, maybe a little bit less often, but still, it's to the point that I feel like they need at least another software update to clean this thing up before anybody should spend almost $300 on it. Like, you can spend a little bit more and get, a Moto 360 or a Huawei watch. So that's probably what you should do if you want to get an Android Wear device.
My theory on the watch faces is that I bet what they thought would be so clever is to have their analog watch design team design the watch faces, and then like it never got through that. Oh, by the way, it's going to have this big flat spot at the bottom. And then they got, like, the mock-ups. Like, well, we can't redesign them because that's, I don't know. Because there's no good damn reason for this to have happened. It just seems so bad.
Yeah, and you know what? And especially with, like, the additional data displays, the complications on watch faces, it's just very clear that whoever designed them is just not familiar with how you would, like, add information to a digital display. Like, there's a little, like, you can add a little battery meter to some of them. But like, it's just a little battery outline, and it's tiny, and it empties as the battery goes down. But it's so small that you can't tell the difference between 75% and 35%. Like, it's useless. And there's this thing where like you can have the weather displayed, but it doesn't show you the temperature. It's just an icon to represent the current conditions. Like, this is just very basic stuff that like a smartwatch should be able to do, and they just don't. And it's just like, what is even the point?
I just imagine like the designs coming in and they're like, well, we have a flat tire, but we can't exactly go back, so let's apply a clipping mask.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, this is like not focused very well on my camera, but at the top, those three icons, it's like weather and battery, and for some reason a little tiny percentage gauge that is actually your step counter, which makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Percent of what?
Percent of who? I guess of all of your steps.
Percent of steps.
Cloud AA battery
daily goal.
And it's just like all of like the design sense of the watch face is just not good, and it makes it's like I just don't understand how somebody would look at these icons and get any information out of them.
I think it's kind of like the obsession with, because Fossil's watches are all pretty dainty. They make some your Y chromosome, having super watches, but most of their watches are pretty delicate designs, very light footprint on the face, and I think that's probably what they're doing there. It's like, oh, but it's so light and simple, but it ends up just being useless.
There's one really cool thing about the design of this watch, though. Like, when you take the metal band off, like, it has this sculpted bit at the end that snugs right up against the body of the watch. So when you take that off, the lugs are sort of they stand out from the body like the Moto 360, which makes it a lot more comfortable. So like, I don't know, that's just kind of a cool little design tweak. That was very smart of them.
That's actually exactly how the watch band is on the Fossil watch that I have. That is just a standard watch.
Yeah.
It's almost like they make watches.
Yeah, it's almost like they know what they're doing.
Their physical watch design is good. Like, that's, they nailed that part. Like, it's good as a watch type device, but it's just all the smart stuff. They should have had somebody else do it.
Maybe they did, and that was the problem.
I mean, then they hired the wrong people.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, how? Because if you're Fossil, what need do you have for a mobile software engineering team? Like, that had to be a pretty just to develop that team at Fossil out of not existing to begin with had to be quite a daunting task.
I don't know if it's something that they plan to continue doing, or if this was like a one-time thing for them. But I mean, if they're going to keep doing it, they need to make some changes.
Yeah,
So
I'm also aware of the Intel chipset stuff.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, it's the first watch that's widely available. It has an Intel chip, and I mean, it's and it has a gig of RAM, which I don't think any other currently available watch has. Like, it's fast when it's not frozen, which most of the time it's not frozen. So it's it's not like it's a completely useless chunk of metal on your wrist. But I mean, it just doesn't seem reliable enough to me. But hey, it's Intel. Who knows? Maybe it's mostly Intel's fault. Who knows?
What does the Q stand for?
I have no idea. I think that's like the series of like smart-ish devices that they have. Like there are other Q things that aren't smartwatches.
Yeah.
So who knows what that means?
The Q stands for quality.
Sure, why not? Oh, there's a Fossil Q app. Like it connects to the watch, or like their fitness tracker, or like physical watch with like whatever smart stuff in it that they have. Like it's all in one app. But most of the stuff the app does isn't supported by the smartwatch for some reason.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yes, I mean it's like I don't know if that's just a limitation of like this stuff they built for Android Wear or what. But I mean, yeah, like it gives you a few more watch face configuration options. And it sends you notifications about stuff you don't care about, so it's kind of not worth using.
I love a good notification I don't care about.
Yeah.
It's a great way to start the day.
It also runs a persistent notification on the phone. For some reason, I just cannot fathom.
Oh, that's good. That wouldn't make me want to install it immediately or anything.
Yeah.
I can't be the only one who just thinks that persistent notifications on phones are like the worst.
Oh my god, it drives me insane.
Yeah, any app that doesn't have the option to turn that off, it better be damn useful.
Well, any app that doesn't have the option to turn it off, you just long press and just disable all notifications from that app, because seriously, F that.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't need to send you any notifications about important things.
Yeah, it better not, because it's not going to get a chance. Speaking of notifications and Android Wear, am I the only one who just thinks that the Google Now notifications on Android Wear are the worst?
Oh, the new ones? They're terrible.
They don't do much of anything. Although, I mean, they added that when I was on vacation, and that was kind of useful because it showed flight information and like the time and weather back home and everything. So like that was kind of cool. But since then, it has been not useful at all.
There's a part of me that just gets super irritated because it's there every time I check any other notification. Like the fact that it's like having a persistent notification on your watch, and it's just always there, and I dismiss it, and then the next time I get a notification, I check the notification, dismiss it, and then up pops Google Now again, and I'm like, you jerk, I just got rid of you 3 minutes ago.
Yeah, hold on. I'm going to look at Google Now on my watch right now.
The weather forecast has changed by 2 degrees for tomorrow.
I swear to God, I swear to God that it updates every time the weather changes by a degree.
So it has a reminder on it right now, which okay, fine. I have a separate notification for that. It's also got a shipping notification, which is a thing that I like on my phone. But when you tap on it, like all it says is like, "Yep, that's shipped." Okay, thanks Google.
That's good.
That. Yeah, that makes no sense. Google should really make that less terrible.
Yep. I see. So it's just showing. Yeah, there's nothing good here. I searched for Qualcomm stock like 3 times in a week, like a month ago, and it just won't get rid of it now. It's just there forever.
Yeah, sometimes I probably the most frequent use for incognito mode is when I Google something that I know that Google Now is going to latch onto, and I don't want it to.
That's a sad state of affairs, and that is very true of Google Now. It wants to help you so much.
Yeah. Are you sure you don't want to know more about
Google
this?
Now is that overly enthusiastic retail employee who asks you several times if you need any help finding anything.
It's like, no, Google Now, I'm just looking right now, thanks.
It's like TiVo back in the day.
Are you sure you don't need help finding anything? It looks like you're lost. Can I help you find the weather?
Would you like some news stories? You seem to just be looking at your phone.
Here's an article about cat neurological disorders. I see you were on Reddit 2 weeks ago.
Do you want to continue researching smartphones?
Yes, that's great. That is my favorite one. It's like you can't even fight that one because like it's inevitable that it's going to come back.
Yeah.
My job has doomed me to a future forever of Google Now smartphone research notifications. Or like sometimes I'll get a notification about an article on AP that I've read, and it's like, is this card useful right now? And I have to say yes because I'm like, well, I don't want Google to think Android Police is unuseful, but this card is not useful to me right now, Google. It is very unuseful.
Yeah.
What's going to be sad is like at some point in time, if you are no longer writing Android-related stories on a blog, it'll start saying things like, "Remember when we used to research smartphones together?" That's what.
Blast from the past. 18 years ago, you were researching the Nexus 6P.
When you're like 60 and Google Now is still around.
Well, by then it's going to be built in. Well, by then it's going to be built into his eyeball, so you just won't be able to get away from it at all.
You're on your deathbed. It's Benson Loon's birthday.
All right, so we have a voicemail we should get to.
We do, and it's going to come through my microphone on my Chromebook. Oh, damn it. I just dismissed the notification accidentally. And it's going to sound terrible. I'm sorry for this, everyone.
Hello, gentlemen. This is Matt with his unending list of questions. What phone and what phone accessory deserves the greatest amount of scorn and ridicule that has been released in 2015? Please let the sarcasm flow and have a happy year.
Ooh, what phone deserves the most ridicule? Or phone accessory?
Well,
based on my own personal opinion, or
I think it can be based on anything you would like.
I mean, could we? Okay. So just I'll throw out a contender. This particular phone, and what happens with it when you take this out.
Don't do it.
Gosh,
Do not
be
do it.
careful.
It's a good thing Matt's video froze. He was just about to put the pen in.
You think.
I would like
Yes,
to.
for the audio listener, that's a Note 5 with the pen backwards gate or whatever, because we have to make a game.
I would like to maybe nominate the ZT Axon for deserving our scorn because that phone was expensive for how crappily it was made. It did not have good build quality and got super stupid hot. And also, they want you to finance it for a ridiculous amount of money.
Yeah, ZTE is kind of terrible. Just on the whole.
What about Sega's? Should we throw them?
Well,
on
they
the
have to
Yeah,
actually
they're not-
release a. They have to actually
yeah.
release a thing for us to be scornful of. We can be scornful of their ridiculous ineptitude, but
You know,
we can be
I think
scornful
that
of
the
both.
phone overall that deserves the hardest flop award. I mean, we don't know how many they sold, but it's got to some extent be the OnePlus 2. And I don't want to get into the fiery OnePlus 2 throes of hatred and passion, but that phone gets made fun of a lot.
Yeah, it seems like people moved past the OnePlus 2 really fast. Like, there are still a lot of OnePlus 1 fanboys, but I don't really see anybody defending the OnePlus 2.
No, there really aren't. I mean, there's a lot of people still defending the OnePlus 1, and the OnePlus X seems to be something nobody really cares about. And yeah, the OnePlus 2 overall just seemed to be a misread on OnePlus's core market, which is people who like to proclaim their opinions very loudly on the internet. And I don't think that they hit it well. I mean, their sales could be good. I don't know, but I think overall that they've lost a lot of the steam that they came in the last year with.
Yeah, I think, not including some very basic features like fast charging or NFC. It just really sort of upset people. And then like they did the invite thing again, and the phone is just kind of not attractive, and it has some weird quirky hardware things, like that camera sensor positioning is just dumb. I don't know.
They're getting rid of invites. So
They are now, so I mean,
well.
that was an awfully quick turnaround. So maybe that's an indication that it's not.
Yeah, I think the real issue is that OnePlus built up so much hype, as everybody knew they would, regardless of the merits of the product, and then the product proceeded to be extremely mediocre, just a outstanding level of mediocrity, and it made their slogan sound really dumb, and it just makes all of their marketing just so hard to take remotely seriously, because they just made an okay product.
This whole like this flagship killer thing they were saying, like it was ludicrous for anybody to be saying that, and then when they actually announced the phone, it was even dumber. That I couldn't even. It was like they were begging us to make fun of them, and I kind of feel like that's what they're doing now. They want people to make fun of them because then they get attention.
Yeah, pretty much. That's
like they have to know this stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah. So yeah, I think OnePlus overall, at least for me, gets the award for the, on the whole, biggest, most deserving of ridicule and scorn, generally speaking.
Although as far as accessories go, that Samsung wireless charger with the fan is pretty ridiculous.
I don't think it's worthy of scorn, because unlike the first generation wireless charger they released for the S6, it actually works. So the first one like constantly disconnected, and it didn't work very well with anything that wasn't a Galaxy S6.
Sure, but it is a wireless charger with a fan.
Yeah, and the fan, but it's a fast wireless charger, so it actually charges the phone relatively quickly. It has merits. I mean, the fan, though, is totally ridiculous.
The fan propels the energy faster.
Yes. It increases. The electricity is pushed more forcefully into the phone.
Well, there's nothing actually that directs the flow of the wireless power, so it needs something to kind of push it.
But a phone accessory worthy of scorn? I don't know.
How about sticking with the theme, how about the phone case for the iPhone made by OnePlus? I mean...
Oh, actually, you know what? It's sad but true. Although I don't want to give OnePlus any more attention, because they crave it. We're helping them. Which is annoying. We could say that the question wasn't specifically about Android. Apple's iPhone battery case is pretty scorn-worthy, because it is just a blatant attempt to rip off consumers who don't know any better.
But it does have an Apple logo on the back. Okay.
It does, and so everybody was like, well, you can either have an Apple logo for $100, or you can have a circular cutout that looks weird. But Apple is so cynical. It's just such a cynical product. Basically what they did, they said, you know what? These Chinese companies are making so much money on these stupid battery cases that we can charge twice as much for, and our customers will pay it because they will want the Apple one from the Apple store, because Apple is just so... It makes me mad that people still go for this. So it's hook, line, and sinker.
Although I feel like I heard a lot of outrage about it. In the design community, everybody thought it was hilarious. But, I almost feel like if they made the Apple logo light up, then nobody would be mad. Like, everybody would love it if they did that.
You don't actually gain any battery life from having it on there. Like, it's just to power the light-up logo.
You have a light-up logo, and that's what counts.
Well, it's also just not a good battery pack, though. Like, all the reviews said, it's not nearly as flexible as other ones. It doesn't have as much capacity as other ones. It's not necessarily as nicely made as other ones. It doesn't, the buttons don't work as well as some other ones when the phone is in the case. You can't do things like choose when you want it to charge the phone. It will just charge the phone, period, whenever it is attached to the phone. You can't turn it off. And you can't choose if you want the phone for a little while to, go on internal power, or to just drain the battery. It's really strange.
Yeah, that's right. The indicator and stuff is inside the case.
Yes, because the only time you'll need to see how much battery the battery has left is when you're charging it, obviously.
But, okay.
Yeah, it is a objectively fairly bad product for its segment.
Have you guys seen that photo that's like the the iPhone battery case, and then the pencil sticking out of the iPad Pro, and then the mouse turned on its side with the cable coming out.
Yeah, that's pretty great.
The pencil thing, like, whatever. I think they just...
looks hilarious.
It does. It looks hilarious.
I want to believe that was avoidable.
The Magic Mouse is a dick move. That's just like that's just Apple being like, screw you. We don't want a port on the front.
Yeah, exactly.
That's just them being asinine. Yeah. So yeah, it was. I would say that one probably deserves the most scorn of any phone accessory released this year. The Apple iPhone battery case, or whatever the official name for it is.
All right. Well, that's gonna about do it for this show. If you would like to get your questions or messages or comments or whatever through to us on the show, you can email us at podcast@androidpolice.com. You can also call us or text us at 530-HELLO-AP. That's 530-435-5627. And you can also find us on Twitter at Android Police, on Google Plus, and Facebook.
Okay. I'm gonna stop the broadcast now.